Anyways, what's up, the people of...
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the No Hangover Podcast.
We should do a live... What?
The door should be open.
It's literally unlocked.
Damn.
For anyone wondering, that was Helen trying to open a door.
Helly belly.
And she's successfully inside.
Turn up an unlocked door at that.
Everyone give her a round of applause. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Clap. We should do like 90s sitcoms when they would record in front of live audiences. Get the laughter in the background.
The laugh machine, yeah. You're just hearing the laugh of a whole bunch of dead people, if you think about it. So, something to sit on.
Oh, when you're listening to reruns? Or when
you listen to the...
Or when you hear old TV shows?
Yeah, when they have the laugh track. That's from long time, unless they have updated it.
What about just live audiences?
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Alrighty.
But I'm talking about the laugh track though. I'm not talking about live audiences. When they have the laugh track,
a live audience.
Well, I'm sure a lot of those people are dead too from back in the day. So, regardless,
possible.
We get morbid over here.
Even Friends had a live audience, and
R.I.P. to Matthew Perry.
Yep, tragic.
Chandler Bing. Why is everybody drowning?
Who else drowned?
That fucking... What's it called? The Backstreet Boy brother, Aaron Carter. Didn't he drown? But he was also on drugs. The chef from Obama's chef also drowned in a lake.
Yeah, that's true. He did. I do recall.
Apparently they're gay lovers.
That was a little... Okay. But that was a while ago.
That was this year.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, people be drowning, dog. They don't know how to swim.
Well,
I'm not trying to make fun. I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole or anything, but damn.
Just staying on the dark side. Jeez.
It was in a hot tub too, so he must have fallen asleep or something.
Yeah,
but he had
a heart attack.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers just be having heart attacks.
Died, I guess, from that.
Yikes.
The official autopsy hasn't came back yet, though, so who knows if he died from a heart attack, if he died from, something happened to where he did slip under the water. I know for a fact, though. Well, no one can say I know for a fact, but...
Were you there?
No. I feel like if there was also people speculating, did he commit suicide or something? It's that'd be the worst way to go.
If you're committing suicide, I don't really think you're too worried about,
I still think you would rather it be quick than the most painful death you could get. That people drowning in fire have to be the worst.
Fire, you're fired.
Great movie. Have to be the worst two ways to go.
Fired.
I'm gonna do that to somebody.
Speaking of, great segue. November is not November, but it's also Men's Mental Health Month.
It is.
So what is your definition of being mentally healthy from a male's perspective?
Well,
because we can't speak for the women, unfortunately. Yeah. We can.
It's not their month, anyways.
Yeah, it's ours. Give us our shit.
No, I'm just kidding. But mental health is. It could be it's a broad spectrum because there is, I feel like not necessarily just our age, but people older than us even, and it's become a newfound thing to be more open with your emotions. But before that,
especially from the male perspective,
yeah, men have been told their entire lives, man up, or
rub some dirt on it,
yeah,
suck it up.
Basically, push that shit down. You keep that way down and bottled up. You don't ever let that come to light. And I feel like that's installed in a lot of people our age and older, where it's
for sure,
a lot of shit just brushes off our shoulders because we don't have time to deal with that shit all the time. We're all right, listen, yeah. Some emotional shit might have happened, but I got work to do.
We gotta process it quickly and fucking move on.
Get right back on to what we were doing. And it's crazy when a quote we made before, and it's pretty sure it's a quote out there anyways. Life be lifing.
Life be fucking life.
And that shit comes at you quickly.
Yeah,
so time doesn't stop for nobody. So
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter what goes on, and especially when it comes to mental health, it doesn't matter what's going on in a man's life. They're just looked at as you're the man. You need to be the provider. You need to be the...
I was just about to say that,
you need to be the strong one in the relationship. You have to take care of this, and this. And it's we have so much responsibilities that it's sometimes our mental health can take a back seat because we have so much shit going on that it's like, I don't have time to think about myself.
Yep. But on that same token, you gotta, you can't take care of anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself. So I mean, it is a double-edged sword.
So they claim.
Yeah.
But it's like, but like I said,
yeah. But I mean, but then you see a lot of people just have their breaking point and then they fucking pop off like blah blah and like fucking go off the wall instead of it being this was bothering me. How can we not?
Which
let
I mean,
this bother me or
I
whatever,
do think it's been, as in more recent years, like now that more men are talking out and like speaking about it of like how things are affecting them, I feel like it is becoming a little bit more normal for people to normalize their feelings and like talk to, whether it be their partner, whether it be their friends, whether it be like
some type
coworkers.
of having some type of outlet, someone you can what's the word, confide in and fucking really just be your most vulnerable self.
Because that's important. I mean, for like I said, for people our age and older, I feel like it was always told like keep everything to yourself. Like I've even heard like my dad say shit like that before. He was like, there's shit you should never tell anybody.
And I agree with that. I mean, there's certain things that I just have kept to myself, and I kept it moving, and there's nothing, for whatever reason, but most of it is just like, what is telling anybody going to do?
Correct. I mean, there is certain things that it's like, especially in the past, it's like me bringing it up or me talking about it now, it's not going to change anything that happened.
Yeah.
So it's like, why, and even for like from the male's perspective, why bring emotions into it when it's like it's not needed now?
Yeah.
This shit would have helped, years ago when I was going through it, but now it's like fuck it, it's so far gone, so far,
and also
been done with.
For both men and women, a lot of people just don't know how to fucking handle their own emotions.
That's true.
I was talking with somebody recently that it's why can't people, more grown people, just act like themselves and be themselves? And my rebuttal to that is like, it's expected, you should, be yourself, but a lot of people can't be themselves because they don't know themselves personally. Yeah. And that goes for a lot of adults, a lot of, people our age, people older, still, 30, 40, 50, they haven't taken the time to really figure themselves out and what makes them tick, what makes them, what's triggers for them and shit like that, to then be able to, handle those things properly. And, when things like that come up, so it is, it does surprise me still a little bit that, just people don't take the time to learn about themselves. And it's funny because you're the only person that you're with yourself your whole fucking life.
Literally.
And the fact that you can't find any time to even like, and maybe it's not that they don't find time. I guess I believe more that people just, it's a hard thing to do.
Correct.
It's a hard thing to do. Yeah, it's hard to be honest with yourself. It's hard to, really tell yourself what the fuck.
Deep look in the mirror and be like, listen, and just we've talked about this before as well. Holding yourself accountable, like that's a hard thing for a lot of people to do. Mm-hmm. A lot of people push things off, or like, I mean, we've all struggled with that. Yeah. Shit, procrastination. One-on-one, this guy
turn up.
Did that, but like being brutally honest, yeah, should. But being brutally honest with yourself is hard for a lot of people to do, and like we've said, the truth hurts. I mean, it's hard to even tell yourself the truth. Yeah. So imagine like if someone else tries to tell you it, or going back to mental health, like say you are dealing with something, and either you come from the culture where you're trying to push that shit down and like forget about it, or you come from like, I feel like a lot of people younger than us, our age, older than us, whatever the case may be, we're all kind of stuck in the middle. Like we want to tell, we want to get the shit out. It's not like we're trying to be like, oh, I'm a man, I'm fucking so macho.
I'm 40.
It's just, I'm a man, I'm 40. But it's just a thing.
All-time great quote.
It's a thing within us that it's just like, it's not that big of a deal. Like we all think that.
And I would say that more so for people like you and me, that a lot of things, especially like the way that we view life and our perspective on certain things about life and like a lot of this shit just doesn't really matter. A lot of this shit is not a big deal. Minuscule. A lot of this stuff,
minuscule details.
In 10 minutes and 10 years won't be a fucking big deal. It's a big deal in the moment, but you get removed from 10 minutes from it, 20 minutes removed from the situation. It's not a big deal. And that, I feel like can be a good thing, because then you're not really dwelling on a lot of stuff, and then, you know, you are able to move forward. But then also, like, you know, when something does come up that is an actual big deal, if you haven't experienced that enough and actually try to, you know, understand what you're feeling, then it makes it that much harder, because you haven't done it a lot.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little bit harder to, you know, understand your feelings, understand yourself, understand why, you know, why whatever situation made you feel however it made you feel. So it's that fine line. And again, especially guys like yourself and I, that we are very nonchalant. A lot of shit does brush off our shoulders, and just the way that we view the world, a lot of things aren't a big deal.
Get to us.
Are not a big deal. So, you know, I feel like I've done a pretty good job of figuring myself out at a young age. A lot of that came from not really having a prominent role model in my life, so I had to figure myself out, you know, fairly quickly, you know, given whatever situation. So that definitely helped, as far as I know when I feel a certain way, I know, all right, maybe I need to take this approach to, you know, maybe not be so blunt about it. Maybe take a step back and, you know, think about something before I say something, because I can also be very just straightforward and be like, yo, what the fuck?
I will say, before you get deeper into your point, you have also, knowing you for over a decade, you have also progressed in this.
Oh, yeah, sure have.
Like, you might have always known yourself, but your approach to certain situations
for sure
has definitely changed.
Yeah, that is for sure.
You and Jordan both, because I mean, I know y'all know.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, because it gets, I feel like it gets harder when you're dealing with people that you're close with, because, and although, you know, you really shouldn't, and naturally you just, with anybody, whether it's family, friends, you know, romantic relationship, you expect somebody to know what you're feeling, or like, you kind of expect like, damn, like you should have known. When in reality, like, yeah, maybe, you know, whatever, but they're also their own person. Like, they're also going through their own shit. They also, you know, maybe people are maturing at different age, figuring out different life lessons at different times. So it's, you know, it is unfair to think that in any situation that this person should know how I'm feeling, and they should know what to do and what not to do, regardless of how close you are. Yeah. And that was the issue in some of my closer relationships, when, you know, I would, especially in that point in my life, I just felt like people should just know. Like, why don't you fucking know? Like, what the fuck? We've known each other for how long? Like, why don't you know? And it's like, that's just not a realistic way to think.
Yeah. No, because I mean, no one's a mind reader. So like, you might have a perspective or like a way of thinking that you think like, this is clear as day. I've thought this way my whole life.
Yeah.
How do they not know I'm thinking like this?
Yeah.
But people, you know, it's something that we can't read minds. So,
and especially in your early 20s too, that you really figure that's your first taste of being out in the real world.
We just said that last episode. That's when you make the greatest decisions.
The fucking best decisions of your life. But like, yeah, you know, you're still figuring shit out. I mean, you're starting to figure out the world, and you know what it's really about. Like, you know, how giving it could be, but how harsh it could be as well. And if you're not really doing the right things and taking the right steps, and
keeping your guard up too,
keeping your guard up, but you know, also, you know, being open to new experiences and whatever it is that you feel like you need to work on, or things that you're even good at doing, and you just need to, you know, keep those skills sharp.
Yeah, there's always room to improve.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of what you're good at in life, there's always, you know, practice makes perfect. It's cliche as shit, but I mean, it's the
cliche shit is the true shit.
That's why it's cliche. Shit.
That's why it's cliche. But yeah, I mean, find somebody to talk to, you guys. For me, you know, I was able to build a good enough relationship with my dad that he is someone that I can talk to about anything and not feel like I'm being judged. That I can go talk to him and really let him know, like, this is what I'm feeling about this. This is what, you know, this is how I feel. This is what I'm going through. This is what I did. And really, you know, outside of friends, that's someone that, you know, I know that if I go talk to him about some shit, he'll give me, you know, he'll look at it from an unbiased perspective. Even though I am his son, and, you know, obviously there is bias there. Yeah. He'll still, you know, if he feels like I'm doing something right, he'll tell me. If he feels like I could do something a little better, you know, give it a different approach, you know, he'll give me perspective in that way. So, you know, that's
definitely helpful, because I mean, it is a part of, you know, growing up as well. Besides like dealing with your mental health or dealing with issues, is knowing how to kind of like deal with or move through certain areas or certain situations in your life without getting to a boiling point or a melting over point of being able to I'm not saying push it down or just throw it to the side, but being able to deal with it in stride so that it doesn't pile up on you. You know?
That and compartmentalizing things too. I feel like obviously like there is a point where compartmentalizing things is not good and you might be doing it too much and then you start neglecting shit, but not letting something from one situation trickle over into another situation.
Right.
Again, easier said than done, but again, talking to people, bouncing ideas, again, keeping yourself open, that helps with that shit. But again, kind of playing devil's advocate as well. People in general need to stop like creating issues that aren't there. I feel like I've said this before.
Different episode. It's like we could talk for hours.
And I've said this before, like the way that our country and our society is built up, we have the luxury of creating issues that aren't there. And I feel like that does play a lot into why, in this country, a lot of people, do suffer with, deal with so many mental issues because we're looking for, when things are so comfortable, you start looking for things to fill in that void of like,
America does have a lot of mental issues for sure.
Yeah. So, it's a touchy subject, and again, me and you being who we are can be a little insensitive to it at times. I know I can be, but I also feel like you can't take everything so fucking personal. Like life is not fucking personal. I mean, it is, but like not everyone's fucking coming after you. A lot of it is just keeping yourself humble. Understanding that, you got to give yourself purpose, but like at the end of the day, this shit really don't matter. Do what's going to make you happy.
Correct.
Do what's going to, fuck what anybody else says. Do what's going to fulfill you. Exactly. And then as long as, when your time comes and you can,
as long as you're not hurting nobody. But
that too.
Other than that, do what you want to do.
But, once your time comes and you can fucking sit back and feel like at least you gave it your fucking best go, what more can you fucking ask for? What more can you ask for?
All right, transitioning into something that...
Stay healthy, my friends. Stay healthy.
Well, speaking of health, there was a... Let's see. Who did the research?
Who did do the research?
Okay, so it was the American Heart Association.
Here we go. All the critics and the naysayers are coming after us.
In Philadelphia. So anyways, they claim that daily cannabis use is linked to a higher risk of severe heart disease.
Which, I mean, if I'm being...
In this study, it says older adults who don't smoke tobacco but do use marijuana were at a higher risk of both heart attack or stroke when hospitalized. But, I mean, that's older adults, for instance.
Did they give it age range?
No, it just says older adults. And then it says, while people using marijuana daily... Marijuana. You like that? Lay off the weed. While people who smoked Mary Jane daily were 34% more likely to develop heart failure, according to 2 new non-published studies.
Non-published.
But it was presented Monday at the American Heart Association.
Word.
Anyways.
I mean, I will say that. I will say this to that, heart disease and smoking. Like, naturally, you're not really supposed to be filling your lungs up with smoke of any type, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's weed smoke. Vapor. although marijuana does have like medicinal benefits, like. At a certain point, like, too much of anything is not good.
Yeah, that was literally the point I was going to make. You could drink too much water and that can kill you. So it's like anything you do to an excess every day, and this might not, I'm not sure if it's like, for instance, there is people who will smoke, say, hit a pipe once or twice before bed. I don't know if that's affecting them in the same way. If it's like, I don't know if it's talking to like, daily smokers, as in like they're smoking a whole
like a chain
blunt.
smoker type.
I don't know if they're smoking joints every day. Like I don't think it's like on the Snoop or fucking Wiz Khalifa levels of like wake up in the morning, smoke until you fall asleep. But who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, like I smoke, so I get it, and I try to be more conscious of what I do smoke out of. I like a good blunt. Can't lie. That's what that's kind of what I came up smoking on. After the Coke cans and makeshift pipes, we we graduated to blunts, and
bits and water bottles.
Naturally, that has tobacco. It's a tobacco leaf, so. Once
it's a double whammy.
Yeah. So, and there's reasons why, but whatever. But, once you kind of start, and I've noticed this with, my friends that do smoke, they kind of, once you get older, it seems like you kind of start, what's the word I'm looking for? Transitioning away from, you're just more aware of shit. And I feel like especially with this generation and younger, since we do have so much information at our hands, like it's easier to, oh shit, like yeah, I'm smoking blunts. It does on the wrapper. It says has cancer causing chemicals and shit like that. So and then once you get older,
cigarettes have that fucking clear as day, and people.
Bro, the cigarettes in fucking Italy have like pictures of people at funerals. They have pictures of like lungs, like fucked up lungs.
Good. I mean, but people know these things.
Yeah,
it's not like this.
It doesn't deter anything. It doesn't deter anybody, obviously. Yeah.
But people I work with, like I asked Miguel the other day. I was like, "How much do you smoke?" I was like, 6-7 cigarettes. Like thinking like in a day. I knew he didn't, but I was like fucking with him. He was like, "Buddy, I smoke a pack a day." I'm like,
"Darn." How many are in a pack? Like 12? I've never bought a pack of cigarettes in my life.
I think more than 12.
I don't know, but
I would guess 24, but it's like
I don't think it's that much. In a pack, 24, because it's only 2 rows, isn't it? I only know this because I've grown up around people that smoke cigarettes.
A day in my life.
I smoked a cigarette when I was in fucking 5th grade, and never again did I do that because I felt like I was gonna be fucking.
I did hit one cigarette.
Yeah.
Once in the woods.
And I felt immediately felt nauseous. Immediately felt sick. Yep. Immediately, I'm like, I'm never doing this ever again.
But granted, say this, and I talk so much shit about everyone I know that does smoke cigarettes, or I've literally pulled cigarettes out of people's mouths while lighting them.
Good.
But
you're doing God's work.
That's what I say. But I mean, I do enjoy hookah every now and again.
Hey.
So and there's the people who are like, oh, it's just as bad, or so some people say it's worse, and I'm like, well, I don't do it that often.
Yeah.
And to go off of this study, the past couple of years, I had been decreasing my weed smoking, and like now, shit, I can go months without smoking.
I mean, same. I've become more of a social smoker. Like I do still smoke by myself. If at the end of the day, roll myself something up before I go to bed, just to kind of unwind a little bit. But if I do, it's a joint. And at this point, like if I'm by myself, I might maybe smoke half of it and then put it out. Maybe sometimes it's a quarter and then I'm good. Play some video games and go to bed. But yeah, I've definitely, as I've gotten older, become more of a social smoker. Smoking with my friends and shit and stuff like that.
But the good old times.
Yeah. But, like I said, back to my original point, like anything in excess, especially when you're putting smoke in your lungs of any type, like obviously it's going to have some long-term effects to you. And also like anything can, like Jacob said, water, like, life is trying to fucking kill you. So like
basically,
you might as well find what you like doing and let that kill you.
That's guaranteed.
Death is guaranteed. The only thing. So
if you enjoy smoking, by all means,
go ahead.
Smoke a little bit, but do it in moderation. Don't always get high. You don't got to do it every day.
Forest fires. There you go. Smokey the Bear.
There you go.
Oh man, what's next?
Good old marijuana. I like saying it that way.
Plus, it opens up your mind sometimes. Some people it gives them anxiety, but other people it fucking mellows them out.
Yeah, who knows? Everybody's different, and I mean,
what I'm saying, it's not for everyone.
It's not. And I mean, what's crazy, but this is what I mean with all drugs, anything you do or take can affect you differently than somebody else.
Yep.
Like I could smoke and have a way different feeling and a way different effect than Eric.
Yeah.
You could smoke and have way different feelings than I would. Like he said, you could get anxiety. You could just be hungry. You get sleepy.
Get anxious. You already said anxiety. Yeah. You can get paranoia. Getting the best
some people
of me.
get that.
That must suck. Being paranoid. Imagine
back in my younger days when I did it, never had any of those negative effects. It was calming. It was laughter, and it was hunger.
Imagine being paranoid all the time.
That would be shitty.
Imagine being anxious all the time.
That would be even shittier. I feel like they'd both be pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I don't have these problems. I'm a pretty chill guy. Like,
me either. So it's like
go
I
through
just
life.
like
I'm chilling.
there's just people that are just anxious.
I'm just out here
and
high on
I
life.
feel for them because I'm like, I don't know how y'all fucking live life just on edge all the time.
Nah, I like being just high on life.
Boom.
But
fuck all that other shit.
Something that might end our lives quicker.
Boom. What is that? Damn.
Elon Musk looking for volunteers for
the
his
Neuralink
brain implants.
The Neuralink. That. Oh man, I fuck with Elon Musk, but
to ask for volunteers, that's something like.
I mean, you're gonna have to. You got to get human trials. I mean, unless you want to force people against their will, but that might be even worse.
True. I mean, they're trying to already do something. Not to get too far off that because this is for a later episode, but with their digital banking system, they're trying to launch something like that with a chip in your hand.
Bro, what's that? I know we mentioned it. What's that movie with Justin Timberlake? Time.
Yeah. I feel like
we're getting
like
close to it.
They can control you. But to go off this Elon thing, would you get a chip in your brain?
Fuck no.
Yeah. Like you got me so fucked up.
Like that's the thing. Like I like being able to put my phone down and walk away from it.
I mean, the thing is, like,
like and disconnect.
There's an argument already that the government or bigger companies, they already know everything we do.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially, I mean, me and Eric are fucking talking to a camera right now.
Yeah, but I feel
like our apps are always on.
Yeah.
Our microphone is always on. Our camera is probably always on.
Yeah, but I just feel like even if they know, just like the feeling of like being disconnected and the feeling of like even if you're not, but just again, just being able to put my phone away and leave it in my room and be able to walk away from it.
Or for instance, like at the gym or playing sports, like you could leave your phone somewhere and it's like you have that little interaction or little moment of clarity of you're by yourself, right? With this, like
you're connected 24/7.
They'll not only know, just like an app, everything.
They know your thoughts. They're in your brain.
They're literally in your brain. They're gonna monitor every heartbeat, every movement. Like,
which the thing is,
that's just crazy to me.
Elon Musk doesn't have any like government contracts or anything, so that is something that does kind of ease my mind a little bit with that. And plus, part of it too is the initial like when he first started, throwing this idea out there and trying to get this, to come true is that he wants to be able to fix, chronic diseases like blindness, deafness, diabetes, things like that, because they're taking a part of your skull out and connecting it to the neurons and all that shit to your brain. So it's going to, it's going to be connected to
basically
you. Like,
be able to help you.
Paralysis, like, people that can't walk anymore, like it's trying to cure those type of, but then it comes with, the Bluetooth stuff, the fucking, being able to think of a song and it plays and all that extra shit. And then that's when you become so connected. And when it's too connected,
correct.
When it's connected, or what's the word? How am I trying to phrase this?
When it's connected to connected.
There you go.
But like, that's just a crazy concept to even think about. Cause I mean, don't get me wrong. In theory, sounds great. He's trying to help people with diseases. It's like you're trying to do good, this, that, and the third. But then you get into it, and you're like, what is it really? What's the? I don't know if there is, but is there an interior or not interior, but
exterior motive?
There you go. Good enough. It's like, what is the whole?
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, what is the whole purpose of like?
What does it all mean, Basil?
Exactly. That's exactly what it
I don't know. That shit is scary, especially like when you think about like people who are extremists one way or the other. Like if they get their hands on that type of shit, imagine the type of damage they could cause, especially with AI stuff and
just AI in general, and then like getting even further into it. All right, so think about like people who are, have little devices that can hack into anything. Like you seen on there was this guy like doing an interview where he had basically a little no bigger than a phone that could hack into and put out basically looking like Wi-Fi networks. And if like you sign into any of his network, like it was like 13, 14 different networks. Some were locked, some were free. It's like sign into any of them. He would have all of your information.
Yikes.
And then he had a bigger device that he was like, I could control an airplane. Like, this man could hack into anything. So it's like, imagine putting something that is connected to AI or connected to, an outside device.
Yeah.
You can fucking.
I mean, I didn't even think about that. So yeah, if you have a chip in your brain, he has that. Would he be able? Could you control people? Like, if it's technology, it's a chip. They're taking a chunk of your skull out and replacing it with a chip. Would he? I'm sure that
there's people that can hack literally almost anything. There's people who fucking hack the government on purpose. Like, that's their job. Like, the government pays you to try to hack them. That's the craziest part. You know that? Did you know that? Like, that's actually a job in fucking, like...
Well, they got to keep them fucking...
Cybersecurity. They have to make sure they're up to date, like, all their software.
Iron sharpens iron type shit.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
I don't know. I can't, like...
So imagine if any of those people, and, like... I mean, think about it. There's too many people who do code and all like that. Way too smart. I mean, my girlfriend. My brilliant girlfriend over there. She's a freaking computer engineer. Maybe she could hack into somebody.
There you go. You better not get that fucking Neuralink, Jacob.
She's already got me, but she'll have me forever.
She'll fucking have you being her servant.
But
what's that one movie where with Anne Hathaway that she's like just super obedient and everything that you tell her to do, she has to do? You know which movie I'm talking about, don't you? Let's see if I can look it up. Ella Enchanted. Yeah. Ella Enchanted. There you go. So you'd be Jacob Enchanted.
She broke out of it at the
end. Damn. Yeah.
Amber used to watch that movie. That was a good movie.
Yeah, my little sister watched it.
Good movie.
She beats the shit out of a few people, though.
She does.
When it's time to protect. They protect me, and then she fucking kicks their ass. You know.
I'll have to talk
to
her
movies.
about that.
Good movies.
She'll be like, oh, I haven't seen that in forever.
But, yeah, that AI shit, like, I mean, I've said it a billion times on here. That shit is always sketchy to me. Like,
I mean, look at this latest case, the thing you sent me earlier. In, what is it, South Korea that happened? The AI robot mistakenly...
Oh, yeah.
Mistaked a guy for a box.
And fucking crushed his ass to death. Oh, like, my God. How fucking horrifying would that? Like
you think about that's your job, like checking on all the machines. You're walking by and then fucking thing just grabs you.
That's some nightmare shit.
Like...
Oh, there's also... I don't know what company it was, but they hired an AI fucking robot as their CEO.
Oh yeah, it's some foreign company. Yeah, it's a foreign company.
Oh man, shit's getting too real. The future is now, and I don't like it.
And that shit's scary. Like, people like Elon Musk, going off of him again, he's creating this device, but he's even said that AI is much more dangerous than anything else. Like humans could be possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's almost getting into like shit. This was predicted back in the 80s. Terminator. Like,
yeah, but I mean, it also depends, like, you know, who's creating the AI, who's getting the technology, like, who's getting their hands on it and shit like that. Like, again, if you get people that, you know, are forward thinking that want to,
anything else in the world. I mean,
yeah, but not to that level where it's now we're integrating with the technology and, you know, it's gonna be implanted us, embedded in us.
But think about like people. Think about guns, for instance. There was before he died. The guy who invented AKs
said he regretted it or something.
Yeah, he wrote a letter to like the Russian prime minister or whatever.
Yeah, but again, that can only take you so far. Now, if you start again, like we were saying, if you get technology embedded into you, and someone gets to the point, which inevitably it will happen, that they can start hacking and controlling people. That's the thing. Like, control now is, you know, it takes time. You have to brainwash people. You have to, you know, put propaganda out there, and like it's a long term goal. I mean, right now, if you were to do that shit with the fucking Neuralink and say it happens in 10 years, and what if 35% of the population has it? Like, imagine, and you just start like, that's on some fucking Kingsman shit.
Yeah, honestly, it is. I mean, they said that it only takes I forget who said it. It was somebody in the government, though, said it takes 20 years to reprogram the population.
So imagine
they know what the fuck they're doing.
So imagine, like,
we think like
then you'd be able to do that shit instant.
We think we're all just out here like learning these things for, you know, oh, we're just learning it just to learn it. No, like it takes 20 years to warp society into the way they want you to.
And then imagine how many people.
And there's still not everybody's going to think that way, but it's like. All these things you see and the government doing this, and this, it's purposely to get you to go and flow with their certain way of thinking.
And the fucking worst part about it is that we all know this, and people still like will die on hills, and it's like, why? Like,
I mean, everyone's entitled for their own opinion.
Yeah, and that's
some people think just
that's what I'm saying. Like, you can be entitled, and
It's crazy.
Especially now with just like, again, with the type of information that we get at our fingertips. Like, if you're so like hell bent on one opinion, like you're doing it to yourself. Like I feel like that's a level of stupidity. If
it is.
Like, it's like, I'm not saying like you can't have an opinion and have a strong opinion, but like as new information comes out, it's okay to change your opinion. You don't have to be stubborn and fucking stick to that shit and no, like that's it, like that. It's like, no, like, yeah, I was wrong or I was right at the time, but now we have new information and now my opinion changed because of this new information and whatever. But people get so fucking like hell fucking bent on being right and being like, this is it, and now I can't be wrong, so I'll look like a fucking fraud or a coward if I change my opinion. It's like, no. Yeah, how many times have I die on that hill? No, I've changed my mind and had opinions, and then later figured out I was like, well, maybe that wasn't the hottest take.
When new information comes to light, you could change your fucking opinion.
But to your point, too many people are fucking
get force fed the information and still will be like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, that's to your point though. There's a lot of people that are just, they don't want to think for themselves. They want people to think for them. They want everything to be fucking laid out for them, and they want life to be as easy as fucking possible. But then again, they start creating their own problems, and then
and we're back to where we started.
It's a fucking vicious cycle. It is a vicious cycle, and I hope we can break out of it. I hope that we're able to turn things around as a species of people and not be so fucking dumb. But some call it optimistic, some call it wishful thinking. So what are you gonna do? I guess I'll just keep on doing what I do, and hopefully. And that's the thing too. Like I say, hopefully I can get to a point where my voice will be heard by a mass amount of people, but then at that point, does that make me the same as all these other people that are trying to get that think they're right and their way of thinking is right, and they're trying to get their agenda and opinion out there and shit like that? Like, well, I feel like it's a fine line. It's a fine line.
As long as you look at it the way we're intending right now, that this is free speech. I mean, this is our opinions. I'm not saying you have to believe what I'm telling you, but I'm going to say what I have to say. Yeah. And I feel like as long as you go into it knowing and keeping that value and that principle, like, this is just what I have to say. If you want to believe it or if you want to listen to me, that's on you. But this is what I'm going to say. And this is how I feel, or this is how I look at it. Yeah, you might have people, following you and looking at it your way. But if that's not, I don't know if that's your intention. If you're wanting people to follow your direction, or if you're
I just want people to fucking think for themselves.
Correct. You're just being heard.
I feel like what we're trying to sell is more of a mindset, and you take with that mindset how you gotta take it in your life. Like,
we sell it for $13.95.
No. Maybe soon, but no. But like, just be more, be more self-aware of what's going on. Like,
do your own research.
Yeah, don't just take people's word for it. Like, if you want something done, you want to accomplish it, like, work towards that shit. Like, just more of a
hard work, motivation.
Just be mentally strong, but also, what's a good word for this? Like, flexible in your opinions and in your thought process and in, how you take in information. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it does. I mean, you can't, like you said, you can't just be spoon-fed information.
Because, for example, I feel like I'm a pretty mentally strong person. I feel like I have my ways that I'm set in, but I'm not opposed to changing. If someone has a better way of doing something that works for me, I'm not opposed to changing how I do things. I'm also not going to sit here and be like, because it works for me, it's going to work for everyone. It's like, hey, this works for me. It might work for you. I don't know, but hey, give it a try. And if it works for you, it doesn't. If not, then, find another way that works for you.
You can go into this as in from an outlook of sports. You can go in as an outlook of health. You can go in as an outlook of work. You can do something, and that doesn't mean it's going to be the same or easier. And like how I said about, weed and its effects on people. Anything we do or how we think is going to be different than somebody else's.
Yeah.
So like you just said, something that I do that works for me, XYZ might not work for this person, or this person.
Yeah.
It might work for 1 out of 100 people the same way, or it might not work for any of them. Because, like, I mean, I'll give the example as in work. At work, I could show somebody something multiple times. Multiple fucking times. And them doing it might not have the same result or the result that I want, because I'm like, how the fuck? But everyone learns in their own pace and everyone learns their own way of how to do certain things. So it's like everything has to be taken with a grain of salt. You can't expect people to just know. I'll go into our first topic. You can't expect people to know how you feel without telling them.
Mm-hmm.
Goes into, you can't expect people to know how to do something just by you telling them. Because you telling them one thing or even showing them, sometimes they still won't be able to do it like that.
Bro,
it's just one of those things.
People are fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. But, like I said, I feel like we're just kind of selling more of a mindset of, do what you got to do, accomplish yourself, make yourself happy. Yeah, exactly. Like, be open.
Just a little something.
Be fucking just a little something. Be open to, even if you believe in something, be open to hear different opinions. Like, perfect example. Like, when I go to church with you. Like, it's not necessarily my, what I believe, and it's not necessarily what I subscribe to, but I can get behind.
Subscribe to this guy.
What? Let's say, you gotta change up the vernacular sometimes. But it's something that I can get behind, like the morals behind, the stories and the message that's being pushed. I can get behind. I might not necessarily always agree with the way that it's being, presented. But as grown people, you should be able to sift through that, and again, understand what the underlining theme is of things. And for most things, whether it's religion, whether it's morality stuff, whether, even politics and stuff, most people want the same thing. It's just a lot of people can't get past the presentation. So then you can't get to the root of what's going on if you can't get past the fucking surface level shit. And it's like, well, geez, like,
that deeper level of thinking that a lot of people can't
fucking lack. But oh man, and it bothers me because even people that I consider to be deep thinkers fall for the same. And I'm not gonna say I haven't fallen for the same shit sometimes, but it's like
everyone steps in shit now sooner or later.
Yeah, but it's like, oh man, like it's mostly when it comes to like, big talking points, like political stuff, like religious stuff, like stuff that is very divisive. When it's like, we all want the same thing. It's just a different presentation. Who cares if this is how they decide to present it? As long as you're a good person, you're fucking nice. You help people out. You got shit you're trying to work on, things like that. Then why the fuck do I care if you're believing this way or you're voting that way? Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, everyone has difference in opinions. I mean, shit. You could go down the list. Friends, loved ones. Like, people aren't gonna. Or people shouldn't believe everything you believe.
Oh, that'd be fucking boring as shit.
We're not trying to be copies of other people. Everyone has their own unique style, their own unique opinions. And it's like, yes, you could agree with other people. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't expect everyone to agree or think how you think. It's
healthy to have people around you that don't agree with you.
Correct. It pushes you to,
grow.
Better limits. Like, one, if anything, at the end of the day, it'll at least help you to acknowledge, listen, talk on other topics,
communicate
at
your own feelings and
at
your own
way
opinions.
And there's nothing that'll teach you more about what you were talking about than arguing with someone else about it.
Real shit.
So it's like, if you wanna do information and get your idea across, talk to somebody who doesn't agree with your idea. It's gonna make you have to explain it in a way to inform them. Yeah. So you'll learn more about the topic too.
And again, you'll come to find out that
they might not be so fucking different than you.
Exactly. We all, again, humans as a whole generally want the same thing.
You're not so different, you and
I. Bro, the references keep on coming in. But like it just shocks me sometimes how it takes so much for grown people. And I forget who I was talking to about this, that you know, in kindergarten, you're taught all these basic fucking things like respect others, you know, listen, like treat people how you want to be treated. And then the older you fucking get, the more you stray away from that because you feel like you've paid your dues. You feel like, I've gone through this. Like I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like fuck these people, fuck their feelings, this and that. And it's like whoa. What happened to good old, you know?
Respect your elders.
Yeah, fucking Miss Smith that taught you to fucking respect little Timmy because...
Fuck Timmy.
Pretty much. And it's just so wild to me how the older we get, the further we get away from just basic fundamental shit.
Well,
that like would make life fucking 10 times more easy. It's like, again, back to the point. People like to create their own fucking issues.
They like making the world a harder place than it has to be.
Jeez.
But... on a lighter note, to wrap this up, feel free to talk to somebody.
Oh yeah,
you know,
no doubt.
There's no shame in talking to people.
Find an outlet too.
Getting your emotions out there.
Find some way to decompress.
Yeah, whether it's going to the gym,
reading a book, drawing a picture.
I want to start reading more.
I need to. I have Audible, so I listen to shit. I need, but I usually like.
I would prefer to do that.
But I like to get like
test the vocab.
I like to get the hard copy and follow along.
Vernacular.
And follow along with the Audible and have it read and just me follow along. So technically I'm still reading, but I'm listening and reading. So for me, it helps me. It helps me digest the information better. So, but yeah, you know, fucking talk to somebody, guy, girl, child, adult. You know, you got to find somebody or a group of people that. And women,
we're not saying it's easy being a woman.
No, but you guys are more in touch with your feelings.
You are, you do have, I feel like, better outlets maybe on talking about your feelings.
And I don't want to end it on such a fucking, but on a, no, I guess it's not shitty, but that quote that Chris Rock, you know, the only people who are loved unconditionally are women and children. Men are loved on what they can provide. And for as much as it's shitty, there is some truth to that. So, you know. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
He's lost for words. He was like,
that's all I got to say about that. But
that's all, folks.
But yeah. Anything else you want to say before we sign off here? Kept it short and sweet.
Yeah. Good old Jacob and Eric episode.
Boom.
We're brothers.
And everybody love everybody. We'll catch y'all next week
with some hot takes. Tune in.
Deuces.
Peace.